Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger. My friends, I was very lucky to attend the Summer Game Fest. You may have seen other content on the channel dealing with that specifically. And I was very lucky to get some hands-on time with Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. Now, this is a game we've covered quite a bit on the channel since its debut, but I've never actually got to play it in person, and this time I did. And I gotta tell you, I had a blast. So just one thing to mention out of the gate. I know you've seen videos. Yes, the game looks very pretty. This is legitimately one of those deals where seeing it in person is even better than what the videos make it look like. I stepped in front of the monitors, to capture footage, all that, and I'm just looking at the game like, wow, this looks really good. Turns out when you have a really strong defined art style, you don't got to push a billion polygons on the screen. So the build I played had 5 characters in it. It had Marco, had Rock, had Terry, had Preacha, and all new character Vox Reaper. And for 3 of them, I was just very interested in seeing what was going on. Preacha, even though she's technically not new, there's barely anything known about her, really, right? Marco revealed not too long ago, and Reaper was revealed right at the Summer Game Fest. So those were kind of the characters I focused on in my time with the game. And after this video on the channel over the next few days, expect a few dedicated videos about some of these characters. So I guess just some initial thoughts and impressions on the game. Well, initially, I guess the easiest thing to say is I like it. So out of the gate, this game is very mechanically dense. And we're going to get into the weeds about some of the mechanics because, well, this is the Rooflemonger channel. This is what we do around here. Basically, think of every single gameplay mechanic that is in Mark of the Wolves, Guru Mark of the Wolves, and then just add everything else that's in this game, right? Mechanics are here, and there's a lot to work with. Yet, despite the fact that on paper there's many mechanics, it doesn't feel that difficult to get into. Everything just sort of works. Everything is very free form thanks to the nature of the rev system and everything just kind of working into everything else. It does certainly hold an old school feel in the best possible way that is sort of now missing in more modern games. Like you can see here when Marco wakes up, it says invincible, and I believe that tagline is actually new to this build specifically. So whenever a move is actually invincible, then you'll just see it on the screen. There's no mystery to it. So that's good, but when it comes to invincible attacks like, a rising knee, an uppercut, whatever, like the usual fighting game fare, right? It doesn't cost you anything extra like it does in a lot of other games. Like in recent years, generally if you want an invincible reversal, you spend some meter one way, shape, or another in many different games. Here, no, you just do the move. It's completely free, old school style. Obviously, if it gets blocked, you're super dead and you're going to get blown up really bad, right? Sure, as is deserved, but there's no penalty just for going for it. Nothing needed out of you other than just you going for the button. So definitely old school game philosophy, old school game design going into this, and that's kind of carry through everything about this game. And to me, that's a bonus. SNK remains unapologetically SNK. So now, I guess, let's get into the weeds about gameplay mechanics. There's a lot of things that I sort of knew, but didn't have the full breadth of. And some things I looked at, I'm like, oh, okay, that's how that works. Once again, this game is very mechanically in-depth. And a lot of that depth also helps this game not just be like a total steamroll game like many other modern fighters, where you can't afford to be defensive. We have things like just defense in this game that are definitely a big help. We have your SPG mechanic attacks where, this is where you turn green and it's universally armored, so they're very useful in that way. But as a universal mechanic, it is actually not very universal in and of itself, but we'll talk about that a bit more. There's definitely some character specificity to it. I saw almost nothing about RevGuard in the footage leading up to me playing the game, so I decided I had to figure that out. We're going to cover that. And obviously, there's different jump angles. This is an SNK game. Hops are not as dominant as they are in, say, King of Fighters, although they're still very, very strong. And they do carry, I guess you can call it a weakness, because regular jumps have a strength that hops do not. In that, while you cannot air block in this game, you are allowed to just defend while jumping. And when you just defend, well, you can effectively block the attack while jumping, right? You cannot just defend while hopping. So a hop is more immediate offense, yes, but a regular jump, which, is slower, allows you to defend yourself a little bit and maybe turn the tables on the enemy if you get that just defense off. So it gives some real value in choosing between hops and regular jumps. Also gives more value to characters that can air throw, because if you're regular jumping and trying to bait with a just defense, and the window for just defense, by the way, is pretty generous. It's not very strict, right? So people with an air throw, you don't have to worry about it. You just throw them out of the air. You just get them. So that's very valuable. And of course, a lot of game mechanics are graduated from the older games. We have the whole rev system. I'll talk about that. But to talk about one of the older mechanics returning, the kind of universal high-low crush system, where everyone has an attack. In this game, it's the dedicated rev button, because this is a 5-button game this time around, not a 4-button game. So rev button and stand heavy punch, and either you hit it or you hit that and down together, and you have an attack that either automatically beats lows or automatically beats highs. So what I like about it this time around is it's very obvious what's going on. The window to successfully crush the high or the low is a little tight, but if you do, you get a nice slowdown effect. Like, you can definitely tell it's happening, and then you have enough hits done that you can at least link a light attack into a very small combo after the fact. So universal, everyone can do it, right? But it's a really good hard call-out tool. If you know what they're gonna do, then you can just say, nah, I got you, and then slow down effect. You definitely have all the time in the world to assess it just happened, then get your small combo afterwards. Now, I guess let's talk the SPG, the Selective Potential Gear. This is the flashy bit of the health that you see on a lot of the screens. And you can place it at different points of the health, and that actually does matter. More than just you get the cool stuff right away if you put it up front. So a few things. If you're in your SPG, your health does slowly regenerate, so that's always nice, right? So you have value and just kind of hanging back a little bit if you just want to regenerate a little bit of health. Also gives you your SPG attack. So this is somewhat similar to the top attack in the original Grow, but there's some more to it, especially because of the character uniqueness factor. Like, say, for Preacher, her SPG attack actually covers a good chunk of the screen, and since they are universally armored, that means she can just kind of plow her way through projectiles. Considering she's definitely better up close than far away, this is a good way she can bully herself in, and it's only possible when you're in your SPG. Once you lose that part of your life, you no longer have this move available to you. Conversely, say Marco. Marco, once again, everyone's is armored, and their jumping SPGs are armored too, so armor's a given, right? It's a given. But Marco's is more of a combo one. Everyone can combo into their SPG, and SPGs combo in a way that many moves cannot. Like, you can combo into your SPG after moves that normally can't special cancel, or you can do it after EX moves, right? But so far, only Marco is a character I can find, at least in this build, where he can keep comboing after the SPG attack is done. So that's his unique trait. So even though they can all be done universally as like armored get off me moves, they still have their own distinct flavor character to character, and I'm a big fan of that. Having different goals to work with in the same mechanic is good, versus say like Street Fighter 4 with focus attack. Some people just had good focus attacks like Fei Long, some people just had garbage ones like T-Hawk, but they're all meant to do the exact same thing here, right? This time around, they have the same property, but you're going for different goals within them. Now, let's talk SPG and how it affects the rev system. So, the rev system is the green gauges at the bottom of the screen and affects a lot of the cool things you can do, right? Like your combos, you probably know at this point, like any EX move, you can cancel EX move into EX move into EX move as long as you have the meter for it. And if you're in your SPG, well, then you get effectively a discount on canceling your EXs into EX. So here I'm in my SPG, right? So I do the combo, starts off a command grab, and EX cancel into EX cancel into EX cancel, really fancy, right? And it leaves us close to overheat, but not quite. Same combo outside of our SPG, and we actually do go into overheat because we don't get that small discount. So basically, when you're in your SPG state, you can actually do bigger combos. So you're not necessarily doing more damage, but the fact you can get more hits means, well, you will get more damage in the end. And keep in mind, your SPG placement actually affects this as well. The further down your health bar you place your SPG, you actually get more and more of a discount on all your EX moves. So, on paper, you'd want to just put your SPG, as close to the top as you can, so you can get all the benefits directly at the start of the round. But basically, if you leave it towards the end, you can do even bigger combos yet. You get more wild possibilities because every step downwards in your health, you get a much larger discount on how much your EX moves cost as far as the rev gauge goes. This in mind as well, your hidden gear super, which you can only do while you're in your SPG state with 2 bars. If you land your hidden gear super, regardless of how much your rev bar is filled up, even if you're in the overheat state, right? It will, at the end of the hidden gear super, always bring you down to 0 rev bar. So this is very valuable as it effectively completely resets your offensive potential. So basically, if you know you're in the potential to land a combo with the hidden gear, then you can kind of play sloppy, just purposely burn out. Because if you do that super at the end of that combo, your rev gauge just refills back down to 0 anyways. So effectively 0 consequence, which makes the hidden gear supers especially extra powerful. And of course, that's only available if you're in your SPG. And now, I'm just going to talk about a bunch of stuff I like about the game. I guess I'm doing this backwards. Most people talk about what they like first and then do the mechanics, but whatever. This is rooflemonger channel. This is how we do it. So, just one of the things I really enjoyed out of the gate, and granted, limited build as far as character goes. We don't have all the characters, but at least all the characters in this build, everyone had some good buttons, right? There's nothing I hate more about a character in a fighting game if they don't have decent buttons. It's the best way to make me not play a character. Everyone feels like they have at least one good neutral button, like one good long-range button. Of course, some characters have more than one, right? But I like that feeling that it feels like everyone can compete in footsies and just in general neutral. I also like that this game is not as penalizing on you if you want to play a little bit defensive. As that's definitely a very huge trend in modern fighters, is that you kind of just can't play lame, right? The more you hold back, eventually you'll just be punished for it one way or another. Now, in this game, if you block the rev system, your rev gauge will fill up on block, right? So that is something. So if you block too much, you will be forced into overheat, and overheat is bad. You can't do a lot of your cool things in overheat, and eventually if you are in an overheat state, you can have your guard broken, but it doesn't feel as like doom and gloom as like Burnout does in Street Fighter 6. Like, if you're in Burnout Street Fighter 6, you feel like, for the most part, like, oh, I probably lost, right? In this game, at least my initial feeling, is while it's certainly not advantageous, right? It definitely doesn't feel like it's immediately game over. It's certainly something you can fight back from. Also, when it comes to the rev system, the rev shield. This combined with just defense makes defense feel stronger in this game than pretty much any other modern fighter. So if you're unaware, the rev shield, it's like literally a shield, right? It slightly raises your rev gauge while you're holding it, but it's basically push block. So here you can see Marco, you can get like a 3 block string in, right? But if the rev shield's up, kind of with the push block effect in, he'll start whiffing after the second hit. So that means like against a lot of brain dead offense that you generally have to hold in a lot of modern fighters, this now you can force buttons to whiff because of the push block effect, the pushing out much further out on block, and things that are just, the same old, you've seen this block string a million times, right? Maybe now you can actually do something about it. Also completely negates chip as well. Basically, I don't know, a lot of the modern games, you're kind of forced into offense in a lot of ways. Right now, like, it certainly can't be defensive forever, but the defensive options are stronger than they've been. I would classify myself as a lame player, and lame play over the years has gotten less and less effective. So I'm just happy to see strong defensive options, especially, combined with like the universal low and high crush mechanics. Like, if you know what's coming, you can blow it up. Defense is about as strong in this game as it has been in any fighter for a very, very long time, and I'm a fan of that. And, once again, free meterless invincible reversals too, right? That really helps that too. We're not just upping the offense to make the esports and Twitch watching crowd happy. Because honestly, I feel like that's kind of part of the reason the shift has happened. Other big things I like, English dub. SNK, not so much on, multiple language support over the years, right? And frankly put, just having an English dub will make it a lot easier for the English audience, Western countries, to get into the game. Some people can be scared off by a Japanese-only language. It definitely worked for Guilty Gear Strive, that's for sure. And I definitely feel it'll work in this game because it's already worked on me. Someone like Vox Reaper, although I like the grand gameplay, just, visually I wasn't sold on him right away. And then I started hearing him talk.
Ah, shit. Ah, shit. Ah, shit. Ah, shit.
And then I find out he's a big sweary boy, and when he misses moves, he swears, and he's just kind of surly all around. And then all of a sudden, I kind of like him a lot more. Like, your showcasing the personality to me in a way I just really wouldn't get if it was just only Japanese language. I really like offense in general. I just talked about how much I like defense, right? I like offense in general, right? Like we've covered it in other videos, but things like feint canceling is back. And that allows for all new combo routes. Like you can go like heavy, feint cancel, heavy, all that kind of stuff. And also allows for like various forms of pressure. And of course, feinting can just fake people out to begin with. That's really fun. And the Rev Excel system where you can cancel EX and EX and EX adds for just so much more like combo expression, because generally thinking, and I only had a limited amount of time with the game, but even then, if you think it works, it probably will. And that's always a very good feeling to know you're not handicapped by the game systems. Like, I spent a bit on this one Preacher combo thinking I can get it all together, and it incorporates several things, right? Like, you can link various lights in the heavies depending on the character, and certain EX moves have different properties depending on how they hit, right? So her EX Rekka series does launch the enemy, normally can't do anything with it, but her EX Jaguar kick, if it hits an airborne enemy specifically, when you rev cancel, that leaves them just airborne a bit longer. Then I can go for my uppercut, which is break canceled, get a projectile in, get a super in. And I put all these various parts together, and I was so happy when I finally got it, because I knew it would work. It took me a bit to get it all together, because, I haven't played the game before, right? But when I got it, I felt like $1,000,000. The only downside is now that I'm home and I can't play the game anymore, I think of all these extra things I could have done, and I realize I can do way more than what was there. That's like simple, that's basic now. My mind has expanded, there's so much more possible. Especially because everyone has multiple break cancels where you can end a move early. So you can go like uppercut, break cancel, EX uppercut, break cancel, go for another different break cancel, and then keep a move going, right? So the combo ability is super free form, super, like anything you think you can do. Once again, you can probably do it. And that's really fun, especially for a more classic 2D fighter, right? This isn't an anime game. This isn't Marvel or anything like that. This is Fatal Fury. And this is one of the big success points of where adding all this new stuff on top of all the classic Goro mechanics is definitely a big win. So basically, you can tell by me gushing, I'm just having a lot of fun with it, right? The only thing I could say I was bummed out was T-Zoc was not in the build, right? The big boy grappler. But I gotta say, Preacher is growing on me, Vox is growing on me. I'm actually liking quite a bit of the cast already. And I'm at the point where I just want to play more. Like, the game is out early next year, but early next year is still 6+ months from now, and that is a while. We definitely have more characters coming. If you've seen previous videos, Mai is almost certainly a lock. If you saw the SNK interview, Joe more than likely. And so we're going to have a fun mix of the Goro characters, all new characters, and then the more classic Fatal Fury characters. And I just want to play more at this point. That's really the best thing I can say. I just want to play more. Evo is not too far from now. Next month, I'm sure we'll get at least another trailer or something like that. I've been told there will be a playable build on the show floor if you can find your way to Evo next month. And if you can, I highly suggest you check it out. So other than just at risk of just gushing non-stop, I'll just say I dig the game. I'm having fun. It's cool. I like it. It's fun to play. The characters have tons of personality. And, well, I'll just keep gushing if I don't stop myself, so I will stop myself here. So check the channel for other videos about Summer Game Fest that are already live. I'll have a couple character-specific breakdowns. As like someone like Preacher, there's not really much about her out there, so I do want to talk about her, and also probably a video on Vox as well, so look forward to that for the future. And other than that, finally, we're at the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Fatal Fury.
Oh, yeah.